Folks, welcome to So Bad It's Good. Listen, you've been hearing that I've been talking about for the last couple of days. I've been in Charleston for a special purpose, and now I just landed back in Los Angeles, and we have a special appearance. We didn't think this was going to happen. I can't believe we got to arrange this so soon after this amazing event. I'm so excited to have the host of the podcast, Snark Bait, but also a newly married person, the one, the only, Sophie Brooks. Not Sophie Ross, Sophie Brooks. Welcome to the show.
It's so weird. I have a new, not officially, but like kind of new last name. Eventually.
Yeah, wait, because at the ceremony, which was beautiful, that was the first time I was like, oh, are you taking his last name? Are you Sophie Ross Brooks or are you Sophie Brooks?
Like, I don't know, honestly. I'm gonna take my time changing it. My sister got married 3 years ago, exactly 3 years ago this month, and still hasn't officially changed her last name. So I might just be like, yeah, I'm Sophie Brooks, quote unquote.
Well, yeah, but does Henry, your husband, what does he have to say about this?
He obviously wants me to change my last name stat. He keeps calling me Mrs. Brooks, and I'm like, okay, Mr. Ross.
Yeah. Wow. All right. First fight as a married couple, potentially over the last name.
If this is going on YouTube and you're watching this on YouTube, this is vintage Sophie, like in bed, recording this in bed.
This is old school. By the way, because I was thinking about this at the ceremony, was that I was podcasting with you before you met Henry, and I remember when you met Henry. I remember when you went Instagram official, and we talked about that on the podcast. And now here we are years later, and you are married. And I have to tell you, I know that night, just 2 nights ago, is probably something you're still processing, but from an outsider's perspective, there was a lot of problems, Sophie. I got to tell you, this was not a good, I got to tell you, folks, it was amazing. From the ceremony to the party to the night before, this was so classy, so beautiful. I teared up multiple times, which isn't really hard for me to do, but it truly was amazing. The rabbi was making me laugh. Henry's family, to be able to meet your mom in person and your sister in person. And I talked AI with your dad. I talked sports with your dad everything was just amazing. What did you feel about it? Are you able to process it at all?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I was thinking the same thing when I was reading through the comments on your Instagram post. And there were so many comments being like, I remember when she would be throwing up in bathrooms during her bad dates. Like, you guys have really been along for the ride for so many years now. And it's so special. Like, it really is. I don't know. I was like crying reading the comments. So,
well, I haven't even read the comments on that post yet, because I posted something about Sophie. I posted it there at the end of that night at your wedding. Like literally people were dancing to the band, which, by the way, Sophie was very funny because the band kept playing Bruno Mars, and she was like, I specifically requested no Bruno Mars.
That was my one request, was no Bruno Mars, and not one, not two, not three, I think 4 Bruno Mars songs they ended up playing.
There's a possibility that was Bruno Mars. It might have been Bruno.
Well, you know what? In the moment, I was like, okay, this is kind of a vibe.
Yeah. I go, Sophie, this is a Bruno Mars song. And she's like, it is? I was like, yeah, this is Bruno Mars. You had no. So I was like, wow,
I was
Bruno
like,
Mars
my God, fuck this. But then I was like, funk you up.
Well, I mean, the questions I guess I have is how it's pretty intense having that much love thrown your way, right?
Oh my God. It's like, well, first of all, like, I've been to and also I'm so sorry about my voice. I had no voice until this morning, and my voice is just so like gone.
Who cares?
Still. But yeah, oh my God, just being surrounded by every single person that we love, like, that's like, Henry and I keep saying like it's only down from here. Like, and I also feel like there's so much pressure where it's like, oh my God, it's the biggest day of your life. It's gonna be the best day of your life. I was like, no way. I was like, what if it ends up just not?
No way.
No way. I'm also like the type of person where like every birthday, I like hype up my birthday, then I end up hating my birthday. Like I was like, I'm just gonna hype up this wedding. It's gonna disappoint me somehow. And it truly was the best day of our lives.
What were you doing the moments before? Like, because we were all seated for like, we got there a half hour before. They were passing out champagne. What were you in like a separate room, like getting touched up, like glam, like a housewife?
We were basically doing like family photos before the ceremony and then waiting. Yeah. We signed the Ketuba, which is a Jewish document that kind of makes our marriage official in Jewish law. And so that's what we were doing before the ceremony. And then we had two of our best friends sign the Ketuba as witnesses, which was so special, and taking family photos. And I will say family photos is the worst part by far, especially if you have like a big family like I do. There are millions of cousins having to like wrangle everyone, and it was like it was beautiful weather, but it was also really hot, and like you have the grandparents.
It's balmy in Charleston.
Yeah, and they're like standing around, and like everyone keeps like disappearing for some reason. I'm like, where? Like my sister at one point, I was like, where's Amanda? I was like, why does she keep leaving? Where is she going? Like just like trying to wrangle so many people for photos, and you're standing around, and that definitely was like the hardest, most stressful part. I feel like those little moments where I was like missing family members right when I needed them was like the most stressful part.
But you had like you had multiple photographers and videographers. This one photographer had like 4 cameras like just hanging around her neck. I was like, God, is this like somebody that works for TMZ? It was wild. And then it was so funny. I think certain your older relatives, I don't know if they're grandparents or what. So during the ceremony, there was this rabbi's going too long. The rabbi's going too long. And I thought that was hysterical because I was like, I thought it was great. Henry smashed the shit out of that glass. Because in the ceremony, you stomp on the glass, and the rabbi pointed out something of like, you got to really, be careful because any piece of your relationship that you break, you always run that risk of being able to put something together, which I thought was really beautiful. I mean, the ceremony of it all, I thought was so meaningful and beautiful. But also there was an open bar, which is also meaningful and beautiful. I mean, your friends were great. I talked reality and Nick.
Oh my God, you guys,
so much reality.
Ryan was the belle of the ball. Like, I'm almost annoyed that I invited him because like he was stealing so much attention off of me. Like everyone was obsessed with impressing Ryan. Like,
no, that's not true. That is not true.
No, everyone was obsessed with impressing Ryan. Even my Nana Jojo, my grandma.
Your grandma came in. And this embarrassed the hell out of me, Sophie. Your grandma said, "Oh, I've listened to the show before with Sophie," and I was like, "No. Like, don't encourage." A lot of your family had listened, and that was very. They brought up that's how they found out about BBLs was because of you, and I was like, "No," and I was like, "No. Just listen to Snark Bait. That's the one." Listen to that one and don't be offended by whatever. And your sister, during her speech, you guys, I told the audience this yesterday, she gave a shout out to the plug, and I was a shout out to the show. And you can't buy that kind of advertising, Sophie. That was really, truly incredible.
I was proud of her. Because I know she like presents a lot at work, but for some reason gets nervous during public speaking. And I thought she killed her speech.
No, she killed it.
I was so proud of her. I thought all the speeches were really funny and really great. And again, I think that the ceremony, like I've been to so many weddings, but when you're like up there, you're like, am I doing this right? Like, are people like having fun? But I do think after the ceremony, so many people were like that. I actually like really enjoyed the ceremony just because our rabbi, who was our officiant. Is that the word, officiant?
Yeah. I mean, the master of ceremonies.
Master of ceremonies. He really worked the crowd. He was funny. And I think that he also did a really good job of like explaining our traditions that we were doing to the people,
I'm learning a lot.
The audience.
Listen, I'm like Meredith Marks in this season of Salt Lake, where she's studying for her bat mitzvah. So I'm learning all of these things about what's the cloth they put around you guys?
Tallit.
The Tallit, and then you walk around him 7 times in the beginning. And what does that signify?
that is that I am going to be taking care of him for life. And a lot of more modern interpretations, they make both of you circle each other. But we just did it more traditional where I'm like, I'm the caretaker, baby.
Wait, oh my God.
Trad wife.
Yeah, by the Nara Smith. Sophie did this great. I mean, they did vows, and I keep thinking about the line Sophie had of your first time hanging out with Henry, and he gave you snacks for the ride home to your apartment, and you said he gave me a nosh for my schlep. Or my yeah, and I just thought that was so funny, and it was pointed out many times during the ceremony that you're the funny one in the relationship. And I will say, watching Henry watch Sophie was so touching because you can tell how sprung this guy is on Sophie. I mean, truly,
he's
it was really amazing. Yeah, I think he kind of likes you a lot. A couple other things, and I was able to tell one of his brother-in-law crushed his speech for Henry. This guy was up there. I was like, this guy's like a Dave Chappelle. He went up there and was just like, he was doing crowd work. He did I talked to him at the ceremony and I said, that was amazing. I just gave him the one note as like, you got to be careful when you flip the pages because he would lose his place in the speech. And he goes, I felt that. I knew that was, like I felt that. But I mean, everybody was just so there to celebrate and celebrate you guys. I just can't believe it's over. I can't believe it. You're back in New York. You got back today.
So excited. I was so excited to be on the other side of wedding planning because wedding planning was so stressful and just made me so crazy. But I kept thinking as it was approaching, I was like, I'm kind of gonna miss the drama. Like
I'm sure there will be new dramas.
Yeah.
And by the way, so listen, I was reading about marriage and wedding traditions, and Sophie was wearing white. So Sophie is a woman now. If you catch my drift.
Hey, you guys, bad news.
Sophie might have sealed the deal.
I'm just kidding. That's
sorry to Sophie's family. That's my bad. That's my bad.
What Tom, if you remember in season 1 of Succession, after Tom and Shiv's wedding, the morning after their like Sunday brunch or whatever, he comes down, he says, bad news about my hymen. And I kept telling my family, I was like, I'm going to say that at brunch. And I forgot to say it at brunch, so I'm saying it now.
Well, and also who would have thought that, this is a sports show, but Sophie's team, the Bengals were playing Henry's team, the Eagles. And at first it was like the Bengals were up, and then it turns out the Eagles won. So I felt really bad for you.
That was definitely, there were like a couple snafus like that. That was definitely a low point of the weekend, was the Bengals getting crushed by the Eagles, just because I was watching with my in-laws and I was like, what? This isn't a good start to our in-law relationship. But that Bruno Mars.
Were there any other, did anybody throw up anywhere besides me?
Oh my God, this was like the best part was that so many of our friends and even our parents' friends randomly were blackout. And I think it was the espresso martini shooters.
They started at the very end of the night, you guys. They started passing around these espresso martini shooters, and I'm just gonna have one. Like I was like, yeah, I'll have a couple, and that was after a full. The ceremony started at 5. We got there at like 4, we got there at 4:30. Had a drink at the bar, and then it was like wall to wall. I mean, classy drinking, but drinking nonetheless. And this was until like 11:30. And then we were going to go to the after thing. And it was like Rebecca's shoes were like digging into her heel. And then I was like, we are drunk right now. We are like, because you guys, I was over at Ritual in line and they were trying to charge like $2,000 for a table or something.
Oh yeah. We ended up getting a table and we got a pretty good deal. We didn't have to pay $2,000. We didn't have to pay $40,000 Republic.
Okay, by the way, remember if you listened to this show, she had said she had reached out to Republic, Leva's place from Southern Hospitality, and they quoted her $40,000. And then I hung out with Joe Bradley like a night or two before the wedding, and he was like, I can get you in there for $1,000 or something crazy. And I told Sophie, but I was like, who are you dealing with? But then I talked to somebody else that works at Republic yesterday, And they said they do kind of quote that because they think they would have had to shut down the entire the entire club, because it's not as big as it appears to be on television, kind of like Sir. So that's why they quoted you that, I guess.
So
I was getting mixed
weird.
signals, but then I love that
So
Joe
weird.
Bradley was like, "Yeah, I'll get you in for 1,000," and I was like, "Okay, yeah."
He's like under the table.
Yeah.
No, we ended up doing it at this place called Ritual, and it was like very spur of the moment. Like even like 30 minutes before the reception was ending, people were like, "Where are we going?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let's just
But
like
it was,
play it by ear."
guys, it was also Halloween weekend. It's a college
Yes.
town. This place was like the streets were lined up with people in so many different costumes. I mean, it was truly like once you got out of the Hotel Bennett from your reception, everybody was just on the streets in costume. So it was like a party town. So like Ritual looked like it was like 4 floors.
Oh my God.
It looked huge.
It was a Saltburn themed like Halloween party at Ritual. And also my sister ended up stealing. They had a big sign that said "Welcome to Saltburn," and she stole it at some point.
Oh, good.
Good.
Amazing.
And then
that's
like,
Amanda Ross. Amanda Ross.
yeah,
Ritual, if you're listening.
Amanda Ross stole from you. Ritual. Go get her. Just kidding. But it was so fun. But so many of our friends that are usually like very responsible, and you know, we haven't seen them we're like in our 30s, like falling asleep standing up.
Oh.
One of my friends crash landed into the table at Ritual. Just fell crash landed. Like so many people were just like blackout, and like I love that personally. I'm sure
that's the sign of a good wedding.
Exactly. I was like, I think, and like I know I'm biased, but like I think that was a pretty good party.
Oh, it was. I mean, the whole thing was amazing. But did anybody hook up at your wedding? Because I will say, the night before, I noticed you introducing a guy to like 2 of your girlfriends, and I don't know I don't know if they were like single or not, but that was the vibe I was getting. Did anybody hook up?
Not them. So I did set up one of my single girlfriends with one of Henry's single guy friends, and on purpose, like the evil diabolical genius that I am, I sat them next to each other. They hit it off, went home together. I'm not gonna say who.
Oh
but I was really proud of myself for that. So.
Oh my God. I don't know. I can't believe it's over. I mean, it was just, everything was just so, were your parents happy? Like, cause your mom was so amazing to talk to. And so was your dad, was cracking me up. But like, well, that was the question. When you did the father-daughter dance, what was he saying to you? What was he?
I was pissed. I was pissed because this was another snafu, which was that all the table groupings were correct, but where the tables were was incorrect. Like we wanted our immediate family right in front of our sweetheart table and our close friends right in front of us. And instead we had like we loved everyone at our wedding. It was under 130 people, which you could consider kind of like intimate in a way.
Yeah, it felt intimate, but big at the same time.
But we wanted like our immediate family and our closest best friends like on top of us.
Yeah.
And it was messed up so that wasn't the case. And then we were sitting down for a total of like 5 minutes. So it didn't matter, but that's
you have to work the room you have to work the room like a politician. That's what you were talking about. I thought there was like something like, I thought it was like, I remember you when you were a child, Sophie, and look at you now. Like I thought it was like something so deep, and you're sitting there talking about table placement.
Wait, so that song actually was In My Life, the Beatles, but it was the Bette Midler
version from the For the Boys soundtrack. I knew, by the way, because my parents owned that CD when I was a kid, and they would play it nonstop. So this Bette Midler version is so beautiful. Like that was another moment I was tearing up. And I love that version. It was like, it's the perfect song.
I loved it. And then our first dance was Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. And then
by the way, Sophie's wedding was literally, now that's what they call music, like version 29, because you had the orchestra, the violinist and celloist, or whoever you had in the ceremony. They were playing Accidentally in Love by Counting Crows from the Shrek 2 soundtrack. And I was like, good. Counting Crows representation. Yeah, loved it. Then you had Lover by Taylor Swift as you were coming down, right?
Yeah.
You had Lover. And then on the way out, you had Natasha Bedingfield from
Unwritten was our recessional song.
I mean, I was like, I was in heaven, and then I was kind of like hoping that they're going to play like the Roni theme song or something like, or I thought the band was going to be like Bapa Doo, Bapa Dee. Oh,
Ba-ba-doo,
and you guys,
ba-ba-dee-dee-dee.
they had a live painter painting Sophie and Henry while the ceremony was happening. This lady was in the back painting this beautiful portrait, and I tried to slip her 50 to put me in the portrait, like in the bushes. And no, and I was like, where did that idea even come from?
That was my mom's idea, and that was like her gift to us. Yeah, I love that little touch. I think that everyone, there were like a lot of little details that my mom made happen. So shout out to Amy. Did you get a chocolate Baxter?
Oh yeah, in fact, I have my chocolate Baxter. Rebecca like ate hers, and she feels really bad about it. But I was like, no, I think that's what. Because by the way, Baxter, their dog, was very represented in all of the speeches. They were in pictures at the night before. It was on the cocktail napkins. Like Baxter got a lot of screen time this weekend, even though Baxter wasn't able to go because he was at a political rally. But was Baxter so excited to see you guys today?
Yeah.
Could
Oh
he
my
tell?
God.
Could he
It was
tell like something was different?
no, he has no idea. He has no idea that he was plastered. There were chocolate molds of him.
Yeah,
There were cocktail napkins of him. Like he has no idea. Isn't that so funny? Like he has no clue.
yeah. He's just
Um,
like, you guys left me for a couple of days, and
I
that's like
know. I know.
ridiculous.
We were so sad that he couldn't be there, but like we're happy that he was so represented and he was so like part of the weekend because he's so special to us. Like he's our son.
Yeah. I mean, no, I mean, there was nothing. I mean, like, honestly, this just was so, and we had the best time. Thank you for inviting us because it was great, top to bottom. And I mean, listen, we're here just to talk about this wedding really briefly because Sophie, I mean, you've got to be dying right now. Just the amount of your cortisol levels have got to be through the roof. But I do have to point out, I was on a plane today. They literally released the Southern Charm trailer today.
Oh, I know.
And it turns out Craig and Austin are in a friendship. Like they seem to be like really hurt with each other. And Craig has a great line talking that
I'm a lawyer and a storyteller.
I'm a lawyer and a storyteller. I was like, this Craig Conover is an icon. Like, what a great line.
I can't with him. I really can't with him.
And Austin seems hurt that Craig, and then Paige is like, oh, I knew they were going to like Shep and Austin were going to blame me for everything. And this, because Craig's in the number one slot right now. He's the number one guy in the group, and now they're coming for him.
Yeah, they're not into it. Wait, so did you love Charleston, your first time in Charleston?
It was incredible. I mean, like truly, I like it's such a, you know, a quaint town during the day and a complete shit show at night. And I said on the podcast yesterday, I said, I mean, Craig's going to be fine with pay. I really think they'll go the distance, but Austin and Shep, they're never going to settle down. They will never, because there are too many young girls just walking around that like look like Taylor and Austin's exes. I was like, they will never settle down in a million years, because I didn't realize at night like that becomes like just a college party town. But during the day, it's so beautiful. Everywhere we went to eat, like the best food. We said we're going to come back just to take a vacation some year without like a wedding, because we want to go explore more about Charleston. Everybody was so nice, so great. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about it.
The good thing about Charleston is that Austin and Shep get older, and those blonde College of Charleston students stay the same age.
Yeah, you know. Well, yeah, we didn't have our own car, so we didn't go stalk any of their places. But I think I told you this. Craig Conover unblocked me this week, so
he saw all the comments. So thank you guys for making that.
So we both had something huge happen for us this weekend, Sophie. It wasn't just you. Is there anything that you didn't get to say or do in this last week leading up to the wedding or at the wedding itself that you're like, oh damn, I forgot to do this?
Honestly, no. Like, again, there are snafus that are going to happen, like the Bruno Mars thing, the seating chart. I also was on my period, TMI, which like you think is going to be the worst thing ever, being on your period at your wedding. But like, it was completely fine. I wore period underwear. I was literally wearing a diaper under my wedding dress. You never would have known.
Guys, trigger warning.
It's
Wait, can I tell you something? Wait, Rebecca was too.
oh my
And
God,
like,
we're synced up.
dude.
Also, by the way, everyone loved Rebecca. Like people liked you, I guess, Ryan, but like Rebecca.
She's the star of the show. I wish she would let me talk about her more now, but she's like the star of the show. But it was like she was out of it the day before. Like she was she was in like Friday, she was in deep pain. But then Saturday she was like,
Wait,
hell,
did she like drink too much or did she eat something?
well, no, like Thursday night, we went to like Republic and we were hanging out with like Joe Bradley and stuff. So
Yeah.
we don't really drink that much anymore. And we had 4 days of drinking at night, which we usually don't do anymore. So she was already in pain from that, but then her cramps were like next level.
Oh
Like
God.
the kind of crying, and she doesn't usually get like that. So, but then Saturday she was like ready to rock again, and she was holding court with all of your friends. I think she made friends for life at your wedding. So
I
it
love
was
that. That
great.
makes me so happy.
Um,
Yeah, it was just like amazing. I wouldn't change a thing, even though there is a Reddit thread talking shit about my wedding dress, like I'm Olivia Culpo or
wait,
something.
are you shitting me? There's a Reddit thread about is
But
this
you
because
know
of
what? You know what's funny? Like the Olivia Culpo thing where she got so upset. I'm like, I literally do not give a fuck because I
wait, what was
am
wrong with your dress? You
obsessed with
look
my wedding
beautiful.
dress.
You
It's
look
not for everyone. It's like a little bit out there.
wait, there was a Reddit thread?
Yeah, of course there was.
Oh
Like
my
I'm Olivia Culpo or something.
did Nick Vile start it?
Probably. No, but like I'm obsessed with my wedding dress and that's all that matters. That's why it's funny that like when Olivia Culpo got so upset that everyone was pissed, I'm like, wait, but if you love it, like who cares? I'm like, I literally don't care what anyone says about any of my wedding looks because I am obsessed with all of my wedding weekend looks.
Oh yeah, because the silver dress at the rehearsal dinner was beautiful as well.
I'm like obsessed with how all of my looks turned out. It was like, I had to put on a show.
You did.
And
I really, I guess we're like low level podcasters, but there was like a Reddit thread that blows my, and I teased Sophie that night because I was going to come in like cowboy Western wear, like Nick Vile's wedding, just to like upset Sophie. I
with
was
like
gonna
that little tie. What's like
the bolo
West
tie. I was going to do the bolo tie and
bolo
a
tie?
cowboy hat. Because we had talked about Nick's wedding a while back, but that blows my mind. Wow, look at you with your very own Reddit thread. Well, I think it was incredible on my end, and I know we both thought you looked gorgeous. And Henry's family also, what a good looking fan. I feel like a grandpa now. What a handsome family. Like
I know. Well, that's what my dad said in his speech that he gave. He was like, Henry's family, like they're literally just like Abercrombie models. They all have 6-packs randomly. Like, don't work out. They somehow all have 6-packs. So I guess that's like good genes.
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, his mom was beautiful. You guys, I know you already have Baxter, a beautiful son, but if you ever have a human child, I mean, what a beautiful child that's going to be. I can't wait to read the Reddit thread about your future child. That's what I'm excited about. I want to tell the audience, and I do listen, Sophie, I do have a bunch. I have cards for you from the audience that I guess I'll mail to you, or I'm going to New York for Thanksgiving, so I'll give to you then. And we have something for you. What was the honey fund? But anyways, we'll deal with that at a later.
Sweet.
But they're going on their honeymoon to Thailand and Japan, which we've talked about before. But that's going to be during the holidays. Yes. So you have to work tomorrow, or what's the deal?
I go back to work tomorrow and I'm like, I don't know how I just like get over it. Like I will never be over it. It really was just the best weekend, best day of our lives. I don't know how to like go back to normal life now. Like
that's what's so great about these things is that you have these memories forever, and you have the man right beside you that you did this with, and you guys went through one of the most beautiful, hardest things that any couple will ever have to do is get married, and you did it swimmingly, and everybody got along. And I love to be corny like that. And also I want to point out, folks, I did ask for permission to post those photos. I was very aware. I didn't want to give any. I didn't know if it was one of the. Well, no, because I just didn't know if it was one of those weddings where like.
No, oh my God, my planner, and like people were like, "Oh my God, do you want us to like let everyone know that it's like a phone-free ceremony or whatever. I'm like, no, I want the content. Get the content.
That's what I got Sophie. And she's like, I was like, okay. I just didn't want to like
Please,
steal any,
by all means, take photos of me looking amazing. Please.
I'm gonna start a Reddit thread, I guess, with all my content that I have from your wedding.
Yeah. What if that was you talking shit about me in the Reddit thread?
This girl ain't shit with this dress on. No way. Henry looks so good.
What if that was like, I can't believe she wore flip-flops at the reception. I'm like, I'm sorry, my feet hurt.
Oh my God. I don't notice this shit at all. Like,
Isn't
it also
so
good
funny.
For you.
I'm like, I'm sorry. No, but it was just like, I literally would not change a thing about the weekend. My looks, my flip-flops. I had the most amazing time. It meant the world to me that so many people, especially the people that traveled from the West Coast, because Henry also had family on the West Coast that had to travel. I have another one of my best friends that lives in LA. And like, it just meant the world to us. It's not the easiest location to get to, and it just was so special to us.
Yeah, but it kind of helps that like the location was pretty cool. Like, I mean, it was like, oh wow, I've never been here, and then it was really awesome, and we just were walking around, and everything was so pretty, and then to be able to have this beautiful wedding at this beautiful hotel, and all of that, I mean, free food, free drink. What can you complain about at all? And to be able to celebrate you and Henry, it just, and also to the audience. I had so many people reach out about this wedding and about Sophie. And so thank you, as always, for supporting Sophie and me. And you know, I know a lot of you guys were so excited. So I'm so happy Sophie took a little bit of time out of, I mean, just like we're literally like a day and a half out of the wedding. And so thank you, Sophie. I'm going to let you get back to your life. But I do want to promote Snark Bait, your podcast. What, I mean, are we releasing an episode this week?
We have an episode.
Who do we have?
We have an episode releasing this Wednesday night at midnight. And we recorded it a couple weeks ago and it's ready to go. It's a good one. Are
you allowed to tell us who it's about, or you want a surprise?
It's a surprise, but I think you guys are going to like it. It's a very, very controversial influencer is what I will say.
Woo!
So yeah, now it's, I guess, back to real life.
Back to time to make the donut. So that means Sophie will be back for the pop culture roundup whenever she is ready and recovered. And that's it. But just Sophie, congratulations. We love you so much. And I'm just so happy that this all went so amazing for you guys.
Thank you. Love you and love all of your amazing listeners who, you know, have been.
You can say our amazing listeners. They're listening to Snark Bait as well. Like
yes. You know, our amazing listeners.
Oh wait, we forgot to even say the florist at the night before came. Your mom brought the florist over, and she listens to the show. The florist, and you didn't even know this.
Elaine, I think her name was Elaine.
Yeah, I believe.
And she had been working on the florals for our Friday night, and she had been in contact with, I think, my sister-in-law, whose last name is Kaminsky. And so she said she didn't put two and two together, that this was like Ross Brooks. Like she had no idea until I think that night when we showed up and she was like, oh my God, Ross Brooks, Sophie Ross. And she's like such a loyal listener of Ryan's. And she came up to us at the end of the night to say that.
Yeah, your mom brought her over. Sweet. Your mom was like, I have somebody that wants to meet you. And I thought I was getting arrested or something. Yeah. And it was just so crazy.
Oh my God. Yes. And then also, so many people listen to Jeff Lewis. They listen to you on Jeff Lewis.
Oh yeah. There were a bunch of chumps that came up to me at your wedding.
And I will say, because I know you also do a show with Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, they love your aunt. I talked to your aunt about Malibu's Most Wanted before the wedding. She was like, I gotta tell you, my whole family loves Malibu's Most Wanted.
For some reason, it's like my family's favorite movie.
I texted Jamie and he was like, all right. And I forgot to tell your aunt. He said to say hello.
Oh my God, we're starstruck.
You know what? I think
Malibu's Most Wanted, Bill Gluckman, Down with the Bitches and Hoes.
I haven't even seen this movie, but I know the rap. He
doesn't know what we're talking about. But guys,
circle,
you know, if you know, you know.
Yeah. Well, go get some sleep, and then we will talk very, very soon.
Yes.
Snark Bait comes out on Wednesday night, and we did it. You did it. I'm so happy.
And no more wedding talk. I know for those.
Oh my God! Just
talk, no more. We're done.
No, this was People want to know. Anyways, okay, we're done. We're done for now.
Okay.
Bye.